Postpartum depression and the effect it can have on new mothers is absolutely a topic worth exploring, and with Die My Love, director-co-writer Lynn Ramsay takes an experimental approach in showing the lead character's feelings about it. Unfortunately, so much of the directing and creative choices result in a film that becomes tedious and annoying. Despite the best efforts of Jennifer Lawrence in the lead role, Die My Love gives us one scene after another that's trying to be profound, but the stylistic decisions harm it to a bothersome degree. While the intent is obviously to make a lot of the movie into an unpleasant experience, that does not excuse the storytelling on display. Lawrence is largely saddled to carry the film as best as she can. She depicts the various emotions Grace is going through and her shifting moods when taking care of her child or dealing with her husband Jackson. It's a solid performance and one of the few bright spots of this movie, as underwritten as her character is. Far less successful is Robert Pattinson. He has proven himself one of those actors who can often give an intriguing performance, particularly with flawed characters like this one. However, he becomes far too over the top at a certain point, and what we're left with is a lot of eye bulging. The way Pattinson plays Jackson, it's difficult to understand what Grace saw in him to begin with. Lynn Ramsay makes a lot of odd choices of her direction, particularly with the filming and editing. Outside the basic issues facing Grace, it feels like we don't truly explore these characters before the film jumps to the next scene. With so many scenes involving them yelling at each other or her being depressed, the dialogue needs to be stronger, but what they're saying is not that interesting. So the movie becomes 2 hours of tedium and irritation. Ramsay throws in a number of scenes meant to be surreal and strange, but they just come across as trying too hard and end up distracting from the main character's development. The song choices are similarly unusual and take one out of the already thin story. Even a scene that utilizes the song Little April Shower from Bambi does not elicit the needed emotional response. It's also one of several scenes where the film's handheld camera work becomes a detriment. It's clear the film is trying to get the viewer into Grace's mindset, but these artistic flourishes just add to the overall annoyance of the presentation. It affects the storytelling too, which makes one curious how differently it's told in Ariana Horowitz's novel. Die My Love clearly wants to say something about postpartum depression, but this gets lost under all the distracting directing choices. Outside this aspect, we don't truly get to know Grace as we watch countless scenes of her wandering around her house and fighting with her husband. Jennifer Lawrence does give the role her all, and continues to showcase her ability of playing these women who are dealing with a lot. However, Robert Pattinson goes overboard with his performance, and even the likes of Sissy Spacek and Nick Nolte leave little impact. This becomes a long 2 hours of watching random scenes play out with little narrative structure, thus keeping one at a distance throughout the whole thing. Sometimes unique directing choices can add to the story, but this is a case where they get in the way of the characters.